First of all, just like I just told the team, we got to give them credit. They did a good job, a good football team, so I give them and their staff credit. The reality is we didn't play smart enough. We didn't play mistake-free enough to win. The turnovers, if you go back to the beginning of time, if you lose the turnover battle and you turn the ball over in your area of the field, you're going to have a hard time winning consistently. That was probably the biggest difference in the game. Didn't think we tackled as well as we need to. We're throwing shoulders, we're not wrapping. That's a big physical team. We need to do a better job there. And then untimely mistakes on special teams. Their kickoff return when we had swung momentum back in our direction was a huge play. We didn't have the ball kicked in the area of the field that was supposed to be kicked. And then on top of that, we didn't do a great job getting off the blocks and tackles. So there's some positives in this game, obviously, but at the end of the day, all that matters is that we didn't find a way to be successful and get the win. I thought our guys fought from the beginning of the game to the end. Didn't think we made some adjustments early on. They did a really good job with trading and shifting and motions early in the game. I didn't think we handled that as well as we should have. The initial wave of emotion in the stadium. I think it affected our communication early on. We were going on clap cadence on offense. They were clapping on defense. The officials told us that is legal to do that now, and that hurt us. We jumped off sides a couple times early on. 1 3rd and 5 early in the game. I thought was a significant point in the game. So give those guys credit. Love the fight and the attitude that our team has, but we got to learn from this. We got to move forward.
James, what's supposed to happen on the interception at the end? Who was that play for?
Yeah, we ran a wrong route. We had some guys on the field that aren't typically on the field. We ran a wrong route, and then obviously we can't throw the ball up where we threw. We got to put it in a position where our guys can make a play or get another down. We still had a lot of football left to play, so to turn the ball over in that situation, was difficult. So the other thing is when the ball's in the air, and you see that's going to be intercepted, you got to go break it up. You got to go fight like heck. Even if it was a pass interference on offense, you got to do whatever you can to break it up. So on that play, we ran the wrong route, and then we didn't go fight to break the interception up.
James, Trace committed 3 turnovers, obviously, but overall, how do you think he played?
It's a lot like last game. He had a turnover. Blindside hits. To me, they go under his column, but we got to do a better job consistently protecting. The interception at the end, that was big because we had fought like crazy to get back into the game. Kept battling, get a 4th down play, pick that up, and then again, there's still a lot of football left to be played. So I thought he really has heart. He really, I thought, played well at times, but we got to get the ball off the ground. No matter what, got to step up in the pocket. We can take a sack, but we can't fumble the ball.
At 28-7, looked like the game might get away from you. What were you thinking? What was going through your mind, other than the mechanics?
No, we knew it was going to be a 4-quarter game. I thought whoever had the lead, whatever the situation was, this was going to be one of these games that was going to come down to the wire. I didn't think anybody on our sideline, excuse me, I didn't think anybody in the locker room felt that way. I think the second half proved that, but there's no doubt about it. Early on, we did not handle the initial wave very well, and put us in a tough position. To get down by that many points. The fact that it was this close at the end of the game, I think that speaks volumes for us in the second half. But we're going to have a hard time if we get ourselves into 28-7 situations.
James, was it an emotional thing at the beginning? Was it a schematic thing that you wanted to handle?
No, I think again, as much as you try to get guys prepared for what it's like to go on the road and deal with the noise and the environment, it's another to come out and do it. As we know, this was going to be a big game here. It was going to be perceived that way, and that's what it was, and that's what it's going to be like, for us week in and week out. The Big Ten going on the road, it's difficult. We didn't do a great job handling that early on.
James, you talked this week about your players. The last time Penn State played, they were 2-3 years old. They didn't have much knowledge of this game. Did this feel like something, the start of something that could be special over the next few years? Yeah,
the last time we played them was a loss 16 years ago. We had an opportunity to come out tonight and swing that back in our direction. Didn't get that done. From a fan's perspective, if you're not a Penn State fan, that was a heck of a game to watch, just watching television. So I would think, obviously this type of game was so competitive. It's going to make for a great 4-game series, and we'll see how it goes from there.
James, do you feel like your offense matured today? And if so, how do you help them carry that over, given how heartbreaking the loss was today?
Well, again, I think there's going to be a lot of things when you watch that tape that was done well. There's going to be opportunities that we had to make plays that could have been significant in the game that we didn't make. The thing we have to do is we have to eliminate the turnovers. Can't fumble the ball, can't intercept, can't throw interceptions, can't put the ball on the ground. It's that simple. There's a lot of good things to learn from on tape, and we will do that. But we have to protect the ball. That's 2 hands on the ball in the pocket. That's high and tight when you're running it, and that's decision making.
Was your front seven overpowered at times, especially in the first half?
I think early on, the comment when you do not use a cadence on the road, that's the same issue we have when people come to our place. When you cannot use a cadence, you're using a clap cadence, and people can tee off on that. You're not going on 2, you're not going on 3, you're not using different things in your cadence to keep the defensive line. That's an advantage. That's what a home field advantage is. We get the same thing. So yeah, they get the combination of they're a big physical defensive line. We have an offensive line who's maturing and growing and taking some steps in the right direction. And then you got a clap cadence, and they're teeing off on that. And then once again, like I said, there was some issues early on as well.
Did Pitt do anything different offensively than you expected or saw on tape?
Yeah, I think the trading and shifting was a big part of it, but once again, this is a new coordinator. It was a different game plan than what they had used against Villanova. They were pretty vanilla against Villanova, and I think that was part of their plan. But the trading and the shifting and the motioning, that was more than what he had done in the past at NC State, Wisconsin, places like that. Was a part of what they did, but not that big of a role. And obviously, when we didn't do well against it, they were going to keep doing it until we stopped it.
You lost some guys defensively today. Given the fact that it was so hot, how did that affect you guys depth-wise?
Yeah, you guys don't want me to talk about our depth. And I get it. You don't want me to talk about being a young football team. People don't want to hear that. Obviously losing Kabinda is significant. You're starting a linebacker. Losing Saeed is one of our better, more mature wideouts. Is significant. But again, nobody wants to hear that. The guys got to step up. They got to make plays. I'm proud of the guys in the locker room and how they battled and competed. I was proud of how the coaches kept their composure and made some adjustments at halftime. But as an entire team, we have to adjust faster, and we have to swing momentum back on the road in our favor. Again, I think that early first drive on 3rd down, 3rd and 5, when we snapped the ball before we had given our cadence, that was a big play in the game that I think could have helped us with momentum and silence the crowd. We didn't take advantage of that situation.
Time for 2 more.
When you look at the special teams today, James, obviously the Henderson's a big return, but John Reed looked like he was starting to spark something. How do you kind of evaluate overall what you guys did in that third phase today?
Overall, again, the entire picture, good. I thought we punted the ball well. I thought early on we kicked off well. We made some plays in the return game, and kickoff return, we're still not where we need to be. But John Reed has brought a spark to us in the return game. But again, we can't give up the big return. It's not a secret. We're going to kick the ball into the corner. We're going to overload with numbers. And when the ball's kicked to the middle of the field, that's going to put stress on everybody. And we got to adjust, and we got to look out. We got to cover that. The reality is we got to cover that. But we got to consistently make sure we're doing the things that we're asked to do.
James, what do you say about Saquon Barkley's play despite it being lost?
Again, I thought he battled. People are going to talk about the 5 touchdowns. Again, that defense, they've historically done a great job of stopping the run. But I thought, again, we put the ball on the ground. I thought he battled from the beginning of the game to the end, ran hard. But I still think we can get more out of our running game in general.
Can I have one more just about Trace? I thought he played with a lot of poise in a really threatening, tough situation, and he's still just really a kid. Could you address that, please?
Yeah, I think that's who Trace has been. That's who he's been the whole time that we recruited him. It's how he's been since he arrived. He doesn't get real high, he doesn't get real low. He's fiercely competitive. And again, first real start for him on the road in a hostile situation. And I thought he showed a lot of the things that allowed him to win a starting quarterback job. And I think there's a lot to build on for our future. I get that. I get, everybody wants it now, so do we. But I do think your point is well made that he showed a lot of positive things with his poise, with his composure, with his toughness, and that's something to build on, especially at that position.